All right, guys, let's do it. We're here. Hello. Welcome. Good evening. It is time for the XTC After Hours chat. After hours with alcohol and fun and stuff, and we're doing it's fine. It's a school night. I can probably stay up for like another 3 hours. It's fine. Hello, people. Good to see you. Good to see you. I can actually be loud tonight. I can talk about things. As this is your after hours stream, we have some things. We have some alcohol related things, but I don't know, like Twitch. I'm not monetized. It's fine. Like Twitch doesn't care. So we can have a bit of fun. We can enjoy things. We can have a chat about XTC related things. So obviously, thank you for you guys wandering over from normal places, and let me just get this shared in a couple of other places as well, because we need to spam all of the groups, because that just wouldn't be fair otherwise. So let's spam all the places, and then after that we can properly get into it. So what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about things such as the groups and how they stand. We're talking about anything XTC. We're talking about your questions, because why not? So if you have some questions, type them in the chat just while I spam some stuff, and we'll get started with viewer questions, because why not? What do you care about? What's the meaning of life? What is color? Like any random questions that you might want to do, while I get this in all the important places like Fly Better and X-Wing Australia, because it's probably early in the morning there, and I need to shout at Actor for getting in the group of death, which we will talk about soon as well, because oh god, a group of death, that is a thing. I don't think it's that bad actually, but is it that bad? I mean, we need to seriously have a look at Group D and see if it is that bad, because it's there's some things going on there, and we'll see how bad those things are. Right, posted in all the places. Wait for Ryan Farmer to allow it on the other one, and let's go do some things. Just make sure that I have all of my bits and bobs. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get any Team England on here. I'm tempted to do this like a Hotline League style, where we could do some callers. So I don't know if you have a hot take. If you have me on Discord or Facebook and you have a really hot take, then ping me a message. Maybe your hot take is good enough that we'll get you on, and you can have an argument with me about it. I don't know. I'm feeling talking about XTC right now. So let's do the thing. We have some Team England in the chat as well. So let's see what we got from the chat so far. Let's have a look. We got some high ollies. Really like Group C. Everyone has a chance to advance. That's what you think, Mr. Sami Ulvinen. Gitos for your comment, and I'm a smash you in the face. It's fine. Did not catch, when is the first match? The first matches will be played from the start of June. Basically Monday the 31st or Sunday the 31st of May. That is when the draws are announced. How was teaching during the pandemic? Horrible, but also a really good opportunity, weirdly. I'm doing this. I'm talking to you down a phone line. This is what I do teaching. Clearly, it is something that I'm acceptable at. I'm not going to say good, but being able to teach all of my other teachers how to teach down a phone line is something that I've done during the pandemic. So I've tried to provide a service to my school doing that. The mental drain on a teacher teaching during the pandemic is high. Because you're just talking to yourself and you don't get the backs and forwards. It's the reason you went into teaching. So, there we go. Meaning of life is 42. Thank you, Dave. Shout out to Malta. I'm amazed that Malta has a team. I'm mildly terrified that they're going to be genuinely good. Group C, how British is it? Well, if you talk to Wales and Ireland, then I'm fairly sure that they don't consider themselves British. I have to predict all the top twos. I agree. I'm going to do so. We're going to have a prediction one as well because this is fun. If you could put an I in team, where would you put it? You can't put an I in team, but you can put a me in team. And we remember that me, am the most important person on this stream because I'm running it. Why is Group D so scary? We're going to talk about that. All right. In the A-hole, well, rude. What is the meaning of Stonehenge? What does the fox say? And all of the questions. Marcel needs to practice his hot sauce drinking. Fair enough. Do I have a country I really want to play? We'll deal with that in a second. I don't know. What country do I really want? I don't think so. I don't think I have a country I really want to play. I really want to play the USA, actually, because I want to see how good they are this year. We're going to have a think about Team USA and how good they are this year. We want to have a chat about that. C is pretty balanced, I agree. Celebrating winning that bet with Marcel, absolutely not. We're going to have a chat about that in a second. I'd be more worried if I was Marcel than if I was me. Yes, I think Marcel has more to be worried about, but not too much more. We'll get into that. What we got? Oh, I will lose. There we go. Netta coming back with the shit talk. Why not? We are talking XTC today. Sound off all the players in the chat. We got all the players. That's good. Yes, Ollie bracketology. Let's do this. And math subject dependent human. Oh yeah, we're not going to go down that one. Good question, Jay. I believe that you should actually listen to what a lot of the scientific community is saying. As a person who has done a degree in pharmacology, the whole idea of, if you have a look at particle transfer, I would advise wearing masks in public places for a bit longer, honestly, if you can, just because you don't know if you have COVID or not. And even with vaccines, there is a small chance of catching things. So I think that if you are playing X-Wing in person, it is a good idea to wear a mask. It is a good idea to sanitize your hands before the game and try not to touch your mouth, because common sense. All right, we're almost at the bottom of the questions. Check out the Italian guy who went to Malta. Fair play. Group C will be the drunkest group. Cheers. Oh, and also shout out, how many Team Ireland do we have in the chat? Like, come on. How many Team Ireland do we have in the chat? Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm two down. Let's just put them over there. Okay, serious question for the chat. Serious question for the chat. We have two options. We have Poland and we have America left. What should we go with? Poland or America? I'm going to let you sort that out while I make sure that I have everything on this sorted. That's all fine. We don't have to deal with that yet. What I do need to do is I do need to make my own TTS room so I can show you some pairings processes. And also, what else? Righty. Yeah, the chat moves fast because, well, first of all, Vince. Hi, Vince. Good to see you. And yeah, well, we are Popland. Oh my god, the chat moves fast. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we're starting off with Poland. Damn. Okay, well, shout out to Will. Hey, Will, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And shout out to Marcel as well. I mean, it's American Pale Ale. Don't know if it's actually American. Where is this brewed? Brewed and bottled in the UK. Sorry, America. But it was the closest I could find to American in my local shop. So there we go. We're going to go with the Tyskie first. Right then. So, Fate of Kane, could you do me a favour? Could you post the Canadian team? Because I could go look it up, but I'm lazy. Post the people in the Canadian team, because we're going to go full judgment mode. I feel like we're going to go full judgment mode here. So, cheers. All right. The first thing that we need to do is we need to have a look at some groups, because that's important. That's important. So, what I'm going to do is we are going to go in. We're going to go in hard. We're going to go in fast. Yes, yes, you do. Good stuff, Vince. Um, so Germany on top. We're going to get onto why I'm scared of Germany in a second. To be fair, Canada versus England. Is it just going to be a game of who apologizes to who more? Quite possibly. Right. Let me just get up. I screenshotted it here. Let me just save this as an image. Save image. There we go. Let's just save this in. There we go. We need that one there. We need that one there. Save that there. Let's open that up. And then let's get the things up on the screen. Let's do that. Okay, XTC. Photos, yes. Is that fine? That is fine. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So let's switch to this. Let's turn off the lists so we don't need those. You know what? Let's turn off the galaxy background for the moment. Let's just go at full size. Here we go. Okay. There we go. That'll do. That'll do for the moment. Let's move the chat slightly. Where's my chat box? There's my chat box. Let's move. Oh, stop it. Need to lock that. 2 secs. There we go. Sorted. Right. Chat box. Guys, this is a professional stream. Everything's fine. Right. That'll do. Okay. So, sorted. Right. This year we'll have a chance. Who's Burdin? What country are you from? Canada? Canada. All right, there we go. Fetf Kane, Andrew Ola, Remy Dumas, Steve McLean, Steve Kim, Bohan Lee, Cam Murray, Mike Messiah. Okay, fair play. There are some names I actually recognise in that list. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I mean, also I'm going to throw shit at Rathos because the only thing that he's done recently is make Yasby. I'm going to give him credit for making Yasby, but then, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. Right, let's go and break down some groups. Okay, what we're gonna do? Let me get a background. Let me just get a background up here. Let's go with this because why not? It's a really cool image, and I like it. That's good enough for me. So we'll get that in the background. And then we'll go with this as Zoom. Okay. All right. Group A. Start off with that. Okay. 7-0 in the LCQ in the last Worlds. Good for him. Good for him. I mean, it's fine. I'm going to throw trash talk around and get smashed. It's all good. I am a little bit concerned about Canada. Canada was a worry for me. I was feeling really, really confident about my group until Canada got pulled. So we'll go from there. All right, let's start it off. We're going to break down some teams. We're going to break down some groups. By the way, for those of you who are interested, I'm going to cut the nonsense out of this and I'm going to post it onto YouTube. So what I'm going to do at some point soon is I'm going to do a stream where I break down all the countries based on the players in them. Or at least, so basically when we get lists released, I'm going to do a country by country breakdown. We're going to get that sorted. Once we get that sorted, I will break it down into individual YouTube videos. So congratulations. For those of you who care, there are going to be 38 individual little videos on all the teams. Or I might make 5 of them based on groups. I don't know. I'll work it out later. But yes, team wins is what matters. And if you're the one that gets thrown under the bus every time, Johnny, congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so Group A. Now the real question is, did Poland rig this? I don't think they did, actually. So let's have a look at the teams. Now these are in order. These are in order of the buckets. These are in the orders of the buckets. Hello, Pedro. Good to see you. Shout out to Pedro. The man makes the most amazing alt-arts in the world. Seriously, go check out some. What? Okay, so I told you this is the entertaining evening stream. This is not the safer work stream that we just had. I was being very good on the other stream. We're now going to go in and we're going to fire some shots because normally I don't fire shots. I'm very reserved, but this is trash talk territory, right? We have to do trash talk territory. Francois, England, England. Oh, they're not on order. Fair enough. England is over here. Clearly, we're going to stomp Group C. We're going to get through that. All right. But no, we're on full on trash talk territory here. Let's do it. So, I actually think that Group A is really interesting. I don't think it's interesting in terms of who's going to come first, because I do think that Poland is going to come first. For those of you who don't understand how consistent Poland is, not only just in the general level of the player base and the ability to read the meta, it is also incredibly consistent when it comes to the XTC. Poland has been playing in the ETC before it became the XTC. So for those of you who played 40k and Ninth Age and Fantasy, you will know of the ETC. It's been running for years. It is the big competition in the year for 40k because Games Workshop for a very long time didn't make a competition, right? So they're not in the order of the buckets. And what I will do, actually, I will just get up the buckets as well because that's important. So let me get the buckets on this page too so we can see who's in which group. So seeding doesn't really matter past the first couple of... give me a tick. Yeah, seeding doesn't really matter past the first couple of people. So here we go. Let me just save this. Save image in the same place. X-Wing images, XDC. Save. Right, let me just... Oh, it's shouting at me. Shush. Alright, so this just means that I can put the buckets up there as well. Okay, so there we go. Alright, hot tub stream when? When I stop drinking beer and do a few more sit-ups. Lockdown has been, I don't know, I'm finally back to doing sport. It's nice. Okay, so getting the buckets out. Can we make kill, marry, avoid, or etc. That would be fun. But like Winland, to be fair, I can say thank you and finish. I can count to 5. Kuxi kaxi kol mineli avisi. My cousin's Finnish, and I spent a very long time in a sauna with a lot of amazing Finnish people. I really like Finland. Finland is an amazing country. It is beautiful, and you should all go visit it. Anyway. Back to this. Let me get the buckets up. Where is the buckets? There it is. Oh, that's no buckets. That's disappointing. 2 seconds. It's fine. This is all going to be cut out of the official one. Right. Let's open original. Save image as. X-Wing images. XTC. Buckets. Yes. Okay, and let's open this up as well so that we can see the buckets. Ah, that's frustrating. It's not saving it as a thing. That's weird. Oh well, we'll bring it up off Discord instead. That's fine. Apologies, my PC has just decided to fight me. There we go. Let's put that there. Let's save that as buckets. Yes, I would like to replace it. And we'll tell you what, we'll leave that there. We'll leave that there for the moment. So these are the buckets. Let's make it bigger so that we can all see it, as opposed to just a couple of people. Right, bucket time. So it means we can go back to this if we need to. Now, for like who is on which level, let's just get the chat back up again because we're gonna need that. Lovely. Okay, Um, oh yeah, I have a load of squads in the browser. Um, when you have to do it live, yeah, Microsoft Paint. Like, come on, like ProStream, Paint, and X-Wing. Um, I mean, when we consider like the amount of hours that I spent on X-Wing, it's depressing. But this is the buckets. This is the seeds. So you can see here. The important thing to note is that I don't think these groups are seeded. I don't think these groups are seeded. The first two are seeded. The top 10 are seeded. That's the first thing. Okay. And okay, so I genuinely want to get into this because it's something that people have mentioned, and I'm going to get myself flamed, and I don't care. I actually think that Bartosz and I had a little bit of input into it, but not much. I think that the first 10 seeds were done relatively well. I think they were done pretty well. We actually put some time and effort into this because we want to make this a good tournament. And this, I've had a few things leveled in the past, okay, on, oh, this is just a popularity contest. This is favoritism for the people that were in the XDC before. I don't want that to be viewed as the case because that is not what we intended. Yes, the people who are on this list in the top 10 have been in the XDC before. The reason for that is because they have experience of the pairing system and we have evidence of how well they have done. The counterpoint to this is the wildcard group. The wildcard group are teams that we think will do really quite well and couldn't quite be placed into a regional group. Because actually, I think that Singapore, shout out to XY and his and the other people he trains with, there's a lot of scary people in the Singapore team. Canada, obviously, Canada and the USA are right next to each other. You can make a lot of arguments that their meta is basically the same. They go to all the same tournaments. Canada is also going to be very strong. South Africa as well. Shout out to, obviously, South Africa, winner of the Galaxies. Forgotten his name because I'm a horrible person. But there is a lot of good X-Wing players in South Africa, turns out, and Australia as well. So there is a lot of these countries that are incredibly good. And just because they're in a separate group does not mean that they don't deserve a top 10. What it does mean is that they're less experienced with the pairing system, and that could hurt them. So in terms of rankings, I think it's important to be careful with that. So when we have a look at the top rankings, I believe that they got the top 5 correct. There is an argument that the USA deserve to be in the top 5, and it's the two there that I would view as the higher ends. Maybe France as well. I think Italy, France, and the USA are the top end of the second seed, but yeah, I think that there is an argument for putting, depending on the team that they bring, and this was the thing. It's like we weren't sure of the teams before we put this together. There is an argument that the USA could have been in the top group, because if the USA manages to bring the best team that they possibly could, then they are phenomenal. And I've held for a long time now that the USA, as an average, is not as good as Europe. That is basically, I'm very happy backing up that statement. Europe has much more proximity when it comes to tournaments and events and everything else. So because of this, the general level of players in Europe, because they can travel to all the same tournaments and they can level each other up, is higher. The level in the USA is generally lower because of the fact that in the USA there are such large distances in between their events. However, with TTS coming in, I think the level in the USA is raised dramatically because the USA is now, the general average player is able to play at a higher level because they can play people online. So I think that's going to level up the level of player in the UK, and I think Hexiled has a lot to thank for that. So I think, but regardless of that, I think the high end of the USA, the Paul Heavers, the Nathan Ives, the Duncan Howards of this world, shout out to Duncan, I still want to play you, because I played Paul and I played Nathan and have got smashed by both, depressingly. So it's only fair I get smashed by Duncan. Yeah, I think that the top level of the USA team is very good. So when we come to a top level tournament, which the XDC is, the best players of those countries, I think the USA actually has a really good chance. So that is my reasoning and my defense of Marcel before I go shit on him. Done. Okay. Right. What we're going to do is I'm going to have a quick potty break before we properly get into team analysis. But before, just to finish off my segment that I was on, I think that the top 10 teams have more or less got the seeding right. Shout out to a few teams that I think are scary in those sections, and we'll get onto those in a second. But just like the eye test of yeah, agreed. Fate of Cain. A lot of the top NA players don't play online, which is a shame. But I think we're going to see him back soon. Right. So just for the few players, I mean, like, yeah, quote me on that. I think USA has a definite argument for being top 5 if they bring their strongest team. I don't know if the team right now is the strongest team because there are some players that I just don't have experience playing. So, scary teams. Sweden. I know that the Nordics are good. I think Sweden has the best chance of getting the best Nordics in a team. I know that Chris Bengtsson is a sub. Obviously, shout out to making the world's list, blah, 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 blah. That meme has been running for years now. I also think Finland is scary. I have played in Finland in person, and both Marco and Erno Tamalin are very good players. Sami Petri Ulverin as well. Netta, as you guys might know him. Shout out in the chat if he's there. He should be. He doesn't go to sleep. Yeah, there's some good players in Finland. I'm a little bit concerned about Finland in our group. We are going to be going ham onto Finland because, yeah, if anyone is underestimating Finland for being a small country, they're good at X-Wing. Don't underestimate them. Their core players are very good. Yeah, you're 2 hours ahead, aren't you? So it's not terrible. You're fine. Okay, Serbia, Hungary, Czech, Croatia, Ukraine. Serbia. Serbia has been to the XTC for a very long time. They were there from 2016 when I first started at the XTC. They've been there for a very long time, and you should be scared of Serbia. Filip Vucic is technically Polish. I don't know if he has... I think he has Serbian heritage. But he is the best Swarm player I've ever played, and that includes Andrew Patterson. Terrifying Swarm player. Shout out for, in the Gold Squadron event, killing a Falcon and Wedge in the same turn of combat. That is a full health Falcon. 19 health in one go. My butt still hurts. But I think Serbia in this group. Shout out to Croatia's top end. I know that Maita is a very good player. Also, he won't shut up about resistance. But I don't know how Croatia's bottom end is going to be. So as a team, I can't say that they're going to be good. I know that the top end is good, but I think that you're going to see this a lot in the... Yeah, I'm still sweating from that game. I think you're going to see a lot of teams that have a good top end and then fall off as the players go down from there. Europe 2, how is Wales in this group? Be scared of Wales. I'm scared of Wales. Wales is in our group as well. Why is Ireland and Wales in our group? Stephen Gage, shout out to Wales. I captained Wales in the first year of the XTC. We came second. Wales is a good team. There are some very good players. Obviously, they're drawing from the UK pool as well. Anyone in the UK pool of players you should be scared of if you're playing the XTC. Also, shout out to Switzerland. Switzerland, I don't know how far down they go in terms of team, but they have some very good players. I've played a lot of them in person, and I love Switzerland. Switzerland's amazing as a team. So, yeah, be careful of Switzerland. Greece, oh my god, it's great to see Greece back in the XTC. Leonidas, like I want to. I'm gonna find it eventually. Leo, if anyone watches this, send me the video. Like Spartans, what is your profession? They did that. They did that at the XTC in 2016, and it was glorious. So there we go. Kester, am I showing off some squads? I will do. I will do soon. I want to get the confirmation email from Filippo. I just need to really pee, so I'm gonna finish this quickly. Malta, I don't know. Don't know much about Lithuania and Malta. Same thing for the Americas. I am not a. Yeah. Okay, so I'm happy, David. I am happy that you have Dan, because if he was playing for Wales, I would be even more scared of Wales. I'm sorry, but I'm really glad he's playing for Malta. Um, because I'm hoping that dilutes the player pool slightly. Anyway. Um, right. I can't say much about the Americas. I don't know too much. I know there are some very good players, but I suspect the Americas are going to struggle with a top-heavy set of teams. Um, I think there's going to be some very good players at the top end, and then they're really going to fall off at the bottom end. Same thing for Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand. Australia could have a very scary team. Could have a very, yeah. Come on, guys. Come on. Nick is he is Irish. Everyone calls him Welshie because it's a running joke for like 4 years, and it's hilarious. But Firestorm Squadron Firecast, Nick Harris, he is actually Irish. Shout out. Um, so yeah, I think, yeah, I'm gonna 2 secs. We'll be right back. I've run out of bladder control. Okay, and we're back. For some reason I just can't forget to unmute when I come back. It's fine. It's fine. Um, so good talk. Good talk. Everything's fine. We're gonna go on to Team England in a second, but let me just finish off this. Um, so if we have a look at the basically the Oceania teams, I feel like Australia are the scariest, as they were always expected to be. Like Australia are, we can't rate Australia. Like how do you rate Australia? Like the Fosses aren't there because they haven't been playing online. Like so if we brought the strongest Australian team, then they'd probably be tier one. There's maybe not tier one, but they'd be tier two at least. Like you would have to seed them if you brought the strongest Australian team. But I don't know. I don't know. Like how many Aussies play online? Some of them. The Aussies are really good at X-Wing. I know that much. Shout out to Gundarks and everything else. But I know that Travis is coach, or at least he's a sub for one. I think it's Singapore, or it might be the Philippines. But he's a sub for them, or the coach for them. and they use the same pairing systems for the OTC, so they will at least know this pairing system. I think the oh yeah, I mean we're stealing Julian, like he's Australian but he counts as UK. Yeah, like Actor's the captain, so you should already be scared. Um, yeah, you if you end up with Australia in your group, and this is why Group D, Bello Boys, yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Um, so I don't know how to rate the Asia Pacifics. You could see some incredible teams. You could see some full flat in your faces. Shout out to Malaysia. Louis Leong from the 186th is captain. Last minute entry, and I'm really glad he got a team together. Um, you're actually seeing a lot of mercs around the Asia Pacific teams from the Australian area. So yeah, I mean Julian isn't a merc. He counts as England because he's lived there for a full year. So that's that. But moving on, the final group: Singapore, Canada, South Africa. Yes, the pods were picked on Ken's stream. So this isn't the pods. The pods are underneath. We're going to go through the pods in a second. We'll get to those. The final group of people: Singapore. Obviously, you've got XY in there. XY is terrifying. Obviously, he's really good. I've played against him a couple of times now. And again, there is an argument of how far down the quality in Singapore goes. We don't know. There's a lot of this that we don't know. As a captain, I am having to sit there and make predictions of how good these teams are. Honestly, I don't think it really matters how good the teams are, because you shouldn't treat them any differently. You should always assume that your opponent is as good as they can be. Whenever I'm playing a game, I would always assume that my opponent is as good as they know the list as well as I would. So if I was practicing with that list, then yeah, I would do that. Hey, Piffo. Good to see him back. The sexiest Italian. Yes. Anna doesn't count as Italian, so it's fine. Anna is lovely. We love Anna. Okay. Right. So, yeah, in Canada and South Africa, again, relatively, like, Canada is well known if you're American, but from Europe side of things, we don't know too many of the Canadas. I mean, obviously, Andreola, clearly he's going to be flying as Rebels. How do I put this? If you didn't see him come second in the Firestorm Firecast Cup, because if you're on the, okay, so let me just put this in perspective. If you are on the competitive X-Wing scene, you pay attention to big tournaments. Andreola coming second in the Firecast Cup, fantastic player, but a very good list. You see that list and you go, okay, I immediately need a counter for this. And shout out to Andrew, because he got to the final before he played a player that had done his homework. And Lucas Golonka, oh my god, he has done his homework. If he plays someone X-Wing famous, he will look up your stream. He will look up any evidence and look at how you deploy. And I think the reason that Andrew lost that game is he did not change his deployment. He did it exactly the same way as he did in the Firecast Cup. And because of that, he lost. Sorry, he played against Golonka in the final of the Firecast. Because Golonka... Aha! Emails. Ooh, interesting. Whoop, nope, we don't want that. That was close. Okay, cool. So this is the Google Docs. Hee hee. So we have team lists, right? We have team lists. Yes. Oh God, what is this? I'm going to look at this later, Felipe, unless you can give me a decent view of. Okay, this. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this now. This I will deal with that later, Felipe. But yeah, so it's something worth noting that Yeah. That was close. I need to make sure that my main screen isn't the screen set up. But yeah, essentially, you need to be careful if you're X-Wing famous of what you put on stream. Because if you put details on stream of how you play, that can be countered. Golonka saw how Andrew set up from his previous day and from his previous streams and bet on it. He basically said, okay, I think you're going to do this. I know how you're going to deploy you. I know your first 4 moves. And because of that, he came up with a plan and countered it and killed it. That was the reason that Golonka won that game. So, going back to my original point, you know that Andrew is playing, but you don't need to counter the player, you need to counter the list. So, as a player, I had already come up with a counter for Andrew's list and played 2 practice games against it before the next Gold Squadron game. And if you're going to be doing your homework, if you're going to be at the top of the game, then yes, you're going to do that. Anyway, on to the fun stuff. So that's the brackets. Let's get on to the. Sorry, let's just make that smaller so I can see. But yeah, so that's the thing, Funwalk. So as a genuine thing, as the world champion, this is something that I have come up against recently. I cannot play a list without everyone going, "Oh, what's he playing?" So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how this affects things. Yeah, no, absolutely, Walter. That is exactly what Farn did against me. For context, I beat Farn in like 4 turns with my Mind Link list. 3 days before the Europeans, and then I got paired into him, and he managed to beat me. It was a close game, but he knew what I would. That's got a lid on it again. It was a close game, but he knew what I was doing. I didn't change up my deployment, and he beat me. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. See. Now this is really interesting, seeing 2 different styles of player. Marcel plays on the fly, like Marcel works everything out on the go. I am a very homework based player. I like to have thought of all of my plans beforehand. So yes, it's interesting. It's interesting to look at this. And I think it's a strength mostly if you can look at things beforehand, because then at least you have a plan. So it's worth looking at. Okay, let's go on groups then. Let's go on groups. So at the played Dale ones, he didn't joust me. Yeah, exactly. So this is something that I do as well every now and then. Is that I am known as the most conservative player ever. Like, I will be really careful. I'll run away to victory. Blah 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 blah. I've got that reputation. So when I joust someone, they're just like, "What? What's going on? You're coming straight at me." Yeah, it's quite fun. You can, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, this is true, Enzaru. I did. I got kicked out by Euros and then learned. We had so I had a chat with Enzaru, top 16 game at Worlds. I've got this commentated on. Really, like, dude, amazing player, really good guy. And he was just unfortunate that I'd played that exact game before, and I knew what to do against the list. Tidy my bike. Like, I live in a flat. Where am I going to put a bike? I don't have a garden. Go away, Ashok. Okay. So, going on to Group A. There's a lot of people that have looked at this. And gone, well, this is free. This is free real estate for Poland. I disagree. In a way. Okay, so to clarify, I think Poland is going to come first in this group. I think Poland is incredibly good. Poland is a very good, very, very good country. They have come first 3 times in the XTC. They have come second. So they came first in 2016. Yeah, the first 3 times in a row. They won the first 3 in a row. And then they came with us. They came fourth. We came fifth in the most recent one in 2019. Shout out to Poland because they beat us in the final 3 times in a row. So I'm a little bit bitter, but it's fine. So anyway, I think that this is Poland's group to lose. Only 2 teams make it out. Only 2 teams make it out the group. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Now, with this, I think the second place is going to be very tightly fought over. There's a lot of people saying that, Italy came like 14th last year, but last year Italy had a serious problem with players. This year, they have their full team back up and running. Italy has come they have come the 3rd, 4th place for the first 3 years. They are an incredibly good X-Wing country. Be scared of Italy. You should not underestimate them. When I look at this group initially, I think this is going to go the way of first and second seeds. So I think Poland is going to come first, and I think Italy is going to come second. However, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. There is hey, Philip, good to see you. Yeah, I think there is a lot of competition in this group, and I think there's going to be a lot of teams that can take games off good players. So, obviously, you guys in America have more experience with the Brazil meta than I do. I know that Brazil has a large X-Wing community, especially on TTS. So I think we're going to see this. We're going to see a lot of the internet. So yeah, I think Poland first and Italy second. And I think if you're not thinking that is the obvious thing in this group, then you're not looking at the players. I think if you have a look at the full teams in these 2 teams, Poland is phenomenal. Not only do they have a really good bunch of players to pick from, like as a country, they have a ridiculous level of X-Wing. They have so much experience in the competition and the pairing systems. You should not underestimate them. The only reason that we won one in 2018 and came second to Poland, we finally beat them, is because we threw them a massive curveball in the finals, and that was like, if there wasn't a top cut, then we wouldn't have won. Poland smashed us 5-2. 4-2. There was 6 players at that time. Poland smashed us 4-2 in the round robin, and then we came back and we beat them 4-2 in the finals. So yeah, Poland and Italy I think are going to be the first thing. Dark horses, Singapore. Singapore has XY. They have experience in the Oceanic Team Championship, so they know the pairing system. I think second place is going to be a very close fight. I'm not sure. I mean, so this is the thing. I think that Poland are going to come first because they have the consistency. And I think if it comes to Poland dropping a random game, then I think Poland are still going to win because Poland are going to have the largest game difference. They're going to win the most individual games because they have the highest quality of player on their team. Which means that second place is going to be an interesting fight. And I think this group is going to be one of the most interesting to watch because I think Poland are going to drop one game. I think they're going to lose one. And because they lose one, it's then going to be a really close fight for second because whoever beats Poland suddenly has a leg up on everyone else in that competition. So I think Italy, Singapore, maybe Brazil, Norway you can't count out. They have some good players, but again, I think it's going to drop off on the way down. All of these countries have very good X-Wing players in them. I think it's going to be interesting to see how far down that quality goes. Because I think countries like Greece, countries like Malaysia, you're going to see a high top end, Singapore as well. You're going to see a high top end, but can they then compete with those final few rounds where Poland might have a bad matchup against them, but the player skill wins them that game. And I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen in a few cases. So I think that's what's gonna be the case in Group A. If I was to make a prediction, I would say Poland first, Italy second, Singapore third, and then fourth is a coin flip. I think it is between Brazil and Norway, but I feel like maybe Greece and Malaysia could make a punt for that. But I think those are my top three. I think Poland, Brazil, and Singapore are my top. Poland, Italy, and Singapore are my top three. There are some dark horses in this group. I think this isn't the Poland to get a free win group. I think Poland are going to have to work, and I think it's going to be really useful to have a look at some of the streams from this group. I think it's going to be really cool to see some of these games because I think Poland are going to be pushed. I don't think they're going to go 7-0 in all of their rounds. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do pairings and everything else. And I think you can gain a lot of information from this. All right, so, Group B. Group B. Let's have a look at Group B. Group B is interesting. Group B is... Oh, man. I mean, Group B is who comes second. Group B is the give me group, I think. Germany wins. No questions. But God, who comes second? There is a lot of countries here that either have not had much experience. Basically, as Vince is saying here, like, who's like you don't care who you play as long as it's not Germany, because there's a lot of close fights in this group. I'm loving, by the way, the amount of support that we have for South America. Like, shout out South America. You guys have such support online. It's great to see. So in terms of serious places here, second seed for this is Scotland. Scotland have a lot of experience in the XTC. And I believe captain for Scotland is Ted Holmes. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they can leverage that experience. No, sorry, it's Rory. Of course it's Rory. But they have Rory, they have Ted. And they have a lot of good players in that team. But I wouldn't say that they're the standouts if you have a look at like the UK teams. I mean, it seems fairly clear that Germany is just going to stomp this group. I can't see anyone competing with them. But we've got South Africa in there. They hit the wild card. Like, oh man. South Africa meta, I don't know what's going to happen here. Iceland, you can't get out Iceland. New Zealand, with their proximity to Australia, they could be really, really good. The group will stomp Germany. I think you underestimate just how good Germany are. Again, Germany are one of those teams with a ridiculous level of consistency across. Like, every single player in Germany is good. Same thing with Poland. Like, Poland, Germany, there is a reason they came they came high last year. There was a reason Germany came second last year. Shout out to Spain. Like, Spain are underestimated every year. Spain are really good. Shout out to Marcelo. Anyway, back to this. I think... I keep on doing this. I think that you're going to see some better than expected performances here from Iceland. I think this is going to be, like, as Dave is saying, this is going to be a group of surprises for second place. If you're looking for the last minute race, this one could come down to head-to-heads. I think we're going to see a draw for second, and it's going to come down to head-to-heads. If I had to put my money on the line and say who is going to come second, I'm tempted to say that it's Iceland. I'm tempted because I think people are going to underestimate them. They're going to think they're easy. I don't know. I don't know. I think Germany clear first place. I can't even predict what comes second in this. This is just going to be a bar fight. There's like 7 teams walk into the bar. Who comes out in second place? I don't know. This is going to be an absolute fustercluck. It's going to be great. I'm going to really enjoy this. Yeah, I'd agree with Phil there. Whoever beats Germany, if they can beat Germany without dropping too many games, they could win it. But I think if you underestimate Iceland at your peril. Any chance for Germany coming second to all? No. They're going to stomp some of these teams 7-0. I think Germany is going to play a gap a lot of people in this group. They're going to get some good matchups. They're going to put a lot of homework into the pairing systems. It's like you're going to see some not safe for work content in some of these Germany games. I do genuinely think that Germany is just a step ahead of the competition in this for the breadth of players that they have. So if I was going to put money on a team coming first, it would be this one for Germany, because at least in here you have Singapore and Italy to fight Poland, but nah, the Germans. Like, I've seen the German team this year. German team is strong. They got a lot of good players. Okay, moving on. Group C. This is team bias. So there we go. Let's get full on bias mode going. Also, why have we got so many UK teams in Group C? Seriously. Hashtag rig the vote. Dear. I'm concerned. Am I concerned? How confident am I feeling? England's the big boy in this group. Let's be honest. England is the big boy. Canada is interesting. Canada makes this group really interesting. As does Wales. See, this is the problem. We got a bit of a bad draw here because Wales and Canada are 2 of the best not top 10 teams, I think. And I think Ireland and England are going to have to put some serious work in. I think this is not a game of... Sorry, Croatia. Sorry, Mahita. This is not a game of the whole group. This is a game of let's duke it out in the top 4. Because Canada, England, Ireland, Wales... Sorry, top 5. Oh, God, it's got Finland in there as well. Oh... This one's going to be fun. Like, there is going to be some 50-cals floating around in this group, and there's some good quality. Sorry, say again, Piffo. Stephen from... Oh yeah, Gage. Stephen Gage. Yeah, exactly. Like, Stephen has been playing in the XTC for the same amount of time as me. He was in the Team Wales that I captained. There is... Yeah, and I agree with Finland hiding in the shadows. Like, it is gonna be a big fight in this one for the top 2 spots. I'm confident in England on this. Obviously, I'm part of Team England, but I think I don't go in for personal rivalry. I think England, Wales, and England, Ireland are going to be some interesting games because we know each other. We know each other really, really well. We know the players, and the reason that these were meant to be groups where you don't know the players so well is because it's more difficult to do pairings. Whereas with the pairings here, we know exactly which player is playing the list. We know exactly the style of player which is playing the list. And you can use that to your advantage. we have played so many games against each other at this point. I mean, I've been playing competitive X-Wing since 2015, the end of 2014, start 2015, and most of the players in Wales have been playing for that long as well. I was on Wales for the first year. I know a lot of those guys, and they're very good players. So, who's going to come out on top? Who's going to come out on top? I'm going to back England for the depth. I think that Ireland, Wales, Canada, and Finland are going to put up a good fight, but I don't think they have enough bottom end to compete with England. I don't think the quality that we have on our team. Just to clarify, if anyone doesn't know, so Rebels, we got Paul Owen, Paul Fullon, Empire, Julian Hood, Scum, Tom Reed, Resistance, Lloyd Bowman, First Order, Kester Smith. We've got Republic, myself, and we have the droids, the faction, the fire sprays, the faction, more like. We have Dom Flanagan. So, yeah, we've got a good level of experience. Julian's a cheat code. Come on, he's in the 186. He's English at this point. He's been living in England for the last how many years. But seriously, like the level of quality that we have in the English team is scary. It's very, very scary. I was going to talk about this previously, so let's talk about this now. Let's talk about the pairing process and the pairing process, the selection process, and how I select Team England. I always try and be as fair as possible. Basically, it's a dictatorship. That is the short summary. I am the one that decides the team. I ask for help, but where under Julian's passport to say nationality? FIFA rules. He's been living in. Oh yeah, totally. We could field a full strength second team and they'd be terrifying. Who made me the captain? So let's go for XTC history. When we started off, we were joining the ETC, and when we started, England was doing a selection process where you had to win to get in for half the team, because it was teams of 6. So half the team was selected, half the team was winning in. You won some qualification tournaments. I knew a lot of the guys in Team Wales because I lived in Bath at the time and I was playing Cardiff on a regular basis. So I decided that I was going to forgo my qualification for England and I would ask Wales if they wanted me and play for the team, because they were a lot of my friends. At the time, I had won the Nordic Nationals last year, so I was just like, right, I'm willing to put my hat in the ring for Wales, and I want to play. At the time, it was Tom Mortlock who was the captain. Unfortunately, he had to drop out and couldn't play, so I ended up taking up the captaincy for Team Wales for that year, 2016. So I captained Team Wales to the 2016, and we got second place. We did really well. Steve Gage, Tom Reed, Craig Reed was on that team. We had Ryan Davies. We had a really, really good team there. And that was like we actually came down to tiebreakers. It came down to the last game, and unfortunately we lost to Poland 4-2. Final roll of the final game. It was a great, great, great tournament. After that, Team England lost their captain. Sam Cox unfortunately couldn't do it again. So as captain of Team Wales, I knew the ropes. I was officially English, so I took over Team England. And I have been Team England ever since. I've been the captain. The way that the XTC and the ETC works is that as long as I can continue to put together a team and no one complains, I will continue to be captain. Basically at any point, if anyone thinks that they could do a better job as captain than I am doing at the moment, then please call me out in a public forum. Go for it. We can have a fisticuffs. But talk to me. If you think that you can do a better job, then amazing, because it is a buttload of work. It is like I I put in the last 3 months of my life have been very much focused on the XTC. It takes a long time, and obviously winning the World Championship recently, I got lucky. I won that. Cool. That gives me a good kudos. But winning one tournament, I don't think is a really good way of saying that this person should be in the team. It's also a bad way of saying that you should be the captain, because just because you won a tournament doesn't mean that you be a good captain. It is great for a spreadsheet lover, and I love spreadsheets. So essentially, I've been captaining Team in England for the last 4 years now, and no one has said that I've done a bad job. So awesome, and we're gonna, okay, we're gonna carry on. So yeah, that's how England captaincy is selected. In terms of the England team, I select players based on results. I have a look at the tournaments, I have a look at the lists, I look at what you've been flying recently, and by recently I mean 6 months, and I will go back through TTS logs, I will go back through tournament logs, I will check who's been doing well, and I have a list of about 30 players. I will send individual messages to those 30 players, and I will ask them if they're interested in being part of Team England. Once we get to that point, then we get down into the making of the team, because the team is not just lists. In a specific meta, everyone starts to fly the same list. So you need to pick people that are able to use different lists. This is where people like Tom Reed and Julian come in incredibly useful, because I can tell them, you're flying this faction, and they will go and find a ridiculously broken list and fly it to the best of their ability, and they will beat the best players in the world using that faction. What I then do is I fill in the gaps with faction specialists, and this is where Kester comes in. Kester has been doing phenomenally well with First Order, which is a faction that hasn't been at the top of the meta for a very long time. So being able to have a faction specialist in Kester is incredibly useful. Dom Flanagan. The lists are locked in right now. I can tell you that Dom is flying droids. And it was a really close fight between droids and fire sprays. And this is where Liam fell short, as he says, because I decided as captain, I don't think fire sprays are a good decision. I think too many people are bringing fire spray counters. So here is an insight into my decision-making process. I think droids are a better call in the meta right now. I think the droid swarm is much more annoying in the pairing process to play against. And therefore, Dom Flanagan with his droid swarm is going to be a much more terrifying opponent to play against in a pairing process than double fire sprays. So enjoy. Good luck playing against droids if you play Team England. So yeah, then there we go, Sammy. Like, same idea. So this is the job of the captain. And yeah, exactly. Like SHG. Yeah. You have to make that decision. And as captain, this is your job. You need to have an idea of the meta, and you need to be able to put together the team. I very, very, very much dislike the method of making a team based on who wins an event, because winning one tournament does not make you a good X-Wing player. And this is where I keep on coming back to the World Championships. Just because I won Worlds does not make me a good X-Wing player. What made me a good X-Wing player is the practice and the cuts that I hit on the way to winning the World Championship. And that consistency that I managed to achieve, that is what makes me a good X-Wing player. So that is what I look for in Team England. If you're interested in playing for Team England next year, that is the qualification process. Prove that you are good in tournaments. Make a name for yourself flying different things. And yeah, just do well. And there we go. And absolutely, Flipster. I'm not going to go too close into the pairings process because I don't want to give away any secrets, but yes. So anyway, let's talk smack about these other countries then, shall we? So I think for those reasons, England is going to come first. I think England is going to come first because we have the depth. And I don't think it's close, but I don't think that all of those other teams can come close to that depth. Now, oh my God, second place. Ireland is the second seed. They have a... I would describe Ireland as Old Faithful. I have actually a pretty good idea of the Ireland lists because I talk to the Irish guys on a regular basis. I'm sure that they have a semi-decent idea of the list that we're playing as well. I think second place is a fight between Finland and Ireland, but I don't know the Wales team yet. I need to have a look at the Wales lists and the Wales players. Because of the fact that Wales was a late submission in terms of... I mean, Steve still submitted a list before me, but I haven't seen much of Steve's selections. I know that there are some good players on that team, but I haven't seen the lists yet, so I'd need to have a good breakdown of Wales before I make a decision on them. My initial thoughts would be Ireland, Finland, but Canada is a wild card. There's a reason there's a wild card. Yeah, you're right, Kester. You're right. Is it time to show off some fancy squads? I think it's time to show off some fancy squads. So let me do this and then let's show off the fancy squads. So I think Ireland's going to get upset. Okay, go on then. So we're going to shout out Kester. Kester has been busy. He has made us all lists. Let's show off the lists. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Let's do lists first, and then we're going to have a break. So let's go to TTS. Boop. Here we go. All right. So this is list reveal time, I suppose. Where I go, Team England lists. Let's pop them here. So first of all, shout out to Kez because look at that team logo on every single one. Look at that, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Okay, let's get rid of all the text as well. We don't need that. So config, interface, get rid of the chat, get rid of the tools, get rid of the player names. Yeah, we'll get rid of the top menu as well. Okay, awesome. Right. So we're going to have a look at them list by list. We're going to start off with Rebels. And actually, we're going to deploy them on the mat because they're prettier that way. So, Paul Fallon. Here we go. So, we've got A-Wings. We've got X-Wings. We have a Hawk. Shocking nobody. There we go. You can watch this back on slow motion if you want more of an idea of the lists. Then we're going to go for the Empire. Here we go. There is the Empire. So this is the Julian Hood special. Let's have a look here. So we got some Inquisitors. We got some nice England markings on the sides. We got a couple of Inquisitors. Hello, is that Death Rain? Is that Death Rain? It is Death Rain. Look at him. Look at how pretty he is. And I'm just going to point out. I'm just gonna do this. What does that say? Does that say Lieutenant Kestel? Is that the XTC bringing Lieutenant Kestel in a tournament? Oh my days. What is this madman doing? This is going to be fun. So there we go. We'll get rid of that. That's going to be fun. You're going to see that in action. Okay. Right, going on to Scum. Shout out to Mr. Tim King. Okay. So, as you can see, there are 6. Nobody is surprised. They all have Auto Blasters. And there's a Torkill. Oh look, Zam Wessel. Best card in the game. Oops. So... yeah, Snailmaster gets it. Right, so we'll get rid of those. There we go. We'll get rid of the Scum. Anyone wants to play 6? Good luck with that. That's going to be entertaining. So then we have the Resistance, and these are quite possibly my favourite ships. Okay. These are quite possibly my favourite out of all of them. Sorry for those of you who are getting a little bit seasick. Look at it. Look at how pretty it is. Look at that A-Wing. It's beautiful. Shout out to Kester for making all of these ships. They're really pretty. By the way, guys, if you're interested, all of these lists are going to be available in somewhere in the region of 24 hours on thextc.com/space. So revealing them now really doesn't make a difference. You just get to see them a few minutes earlier. Okay, so after Resistance, we're going to go to First Order. Where are they? There they are. Kester Smith Special. He painted his own ships. So it's okay, Nick. You can look at the pretty ships later. So we have a holo. Look at it. Look at how pretty that ship is. And they've even got the red cross on the vertical. I have to say, I feel like Kester has done more effort on his own ships, which is entirely fair, because these are beautiful. They painted the guns as well. Even got a load of the shadows on. Look at those TIE fighters. It's very pretty. So we have the First Order there. Lovely, lovely. Let's get rid of those gas clouds. And last two. Yeah, Marcel. Looks like someone's been listening to you. That wasn't me, to be fair. That was all Lloyd. I wasn't sure what Resistance was going to go. So let's go with the Republic. And I'm expecting this to surprise some people, because this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Yeah, captains will get the emails today, actually. This is the reason why I'm showing lists, because the emails have been revealed. So, that is Baby Annie, Marcel. That is Baby Annie. And obviously Vince is saying it, yeah. I might have to... No, I can't tell you the list, Firestorm Squadron Firecast. Go and watch my stream and pump up my views. For any of you paying attention, this is Anakin with advanced proton torpedoes, this is Critbot Obi-Wan with no stealth device, and this is 2 basic 7B Jedi Knights. For those of you seeing me flying the Aces, well, oops. You can have a look at them soon. You gotta tease something, right? You are, Marcel. I was wondering. I wasn't sure, Marcel, whether you're going to do your A-Wings or whether you're going to do Republic. I honestly thought that the best option was for you to do Republic, because not many people can fly them to that level. You need this is the problem. This is the reason why I took on Republic in this, because you need a good ace player to play Republic right now. It is a very, very difficult faction to play. Hey, greetings from Colombia. It's a very difficult faction to play right now. And finally, because they are super pretty, let's get the CIS on the board. I'm going to have to put them down here to start off with. Give me a sec, because there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. Right, let's get these droids in here. Here we are. Let's just grab those and yoink. And yoink. There we go, put them over there. So we got some droids. There we go. We got some tubs. And we got some drones. And we got some droids. Awesome. So there we go. There is a preview of the lists for Team England in the XTC. I'm going to leave you with that, and we're going to be back in 2 minutes to talk more about the groups. So, we'll see you soon. shout out to Vince for being an idiot in the stream, but I'm enjoying it, so it's fine. Okay. Oh dear. But yes, so those are the squads. Hopefully, you enjoyed them all. Obviously, if you are interested, you can go to thextc.com thextc.com.space. Thextc.space. There we go. We got there eventually. You can check those out. Awesome. That's fine. It wouldn't be one of my streams if I wasn't being mean. Hey, Spike. Good to see you. It wouldn't be one of my streams if I wasn't being mean to Vince. So, there we go. Also, shout out to Philipster and all of the others. Oh my god. Look at this. It's so pretty. They made us a board. Like, come on. It's glorious. They made us a pairing board. It's even got the logo on it. That's really, really cool. And yes, Philip, only 7 droids. But quality over quantity, my friend. Quality over quantity. Anyway, this is, by the way, this is default for all of you guys. If you would like it, you can get this board by going onto the beta version of the X-Wing Unified, and therefore it's available to all of you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Simon, Targalot TV. Thank you, Simon. It's pretty. It's really, really cool. It's fine. We'll have a fight and we'll sort out who's better. So yeah, that's the really beautiful set of ships that Kester painted. So thank you to Kester, and serious shout out for all of those, because I'm going to really enjoy using them. It's going to be great. Is there an XTC official playmat? No. Smooch to Jizzly too. Love you. Etc. Etc. Snog Mario Void. There we go. Okay, so going back to things. Where were the things? There were things over here. So let's get this up here. It's time for more trash talk. Okay, so we've just going on to the remains of Group C. I was talking about how I thought Ireland would be. I feel like. Sorry, Marcel. What were you trying to post there? Looked like a link. I feel like Ireland are gonna get. Ireland are a very good team. They're not phenomenal, but they are very reliable. They're taking a lot of beef, if I have predicted their list correctly. And I think they're going to be very consistent. I think they're going to be very... come on, everyone knows his list. It's basically the same as the world's list, and it'll have a couple of upgrades in it. Stop trying to predict what Marcel's doing. Everyone knows what Marcel's doing. It's Rick, it's Annie, and it's a third ship. Probably a Critbot Eater, because he will have upgraded it from his world's list. Anyway. But yeah, I feel like there is definitely the capability for Ireland to be upset here. There's the capability for England to be upset here. I'm a little bit concerned. We have to be on our game if we want to do well. But I feel like Ireland could do well if they stick to what they do best. They're going to be a solid second place team. I think if another captain comes in with a plan against them, they could be in trouble. I feel like if you just put player against player, list against list, they're going to do well. But if someone manages to get the pairings right, then you're going to really come into trouble. And I think it's whether or not someone can deal with the amount of similar lists that Ireland is bringing. And that's where I think Finland and Wales could provide an upset. Wales, because Steve is very experienced in pairings. I feel like he could get a good list of pairings against them. Finland, because of the fact that they're going to have some very aggressive players. Like, obviously, you've got you've got a lot of players that people underestimate, and I think it's worth noting. Canada is the wild card in this group for a reason. They have a lot of good players, but I don't know how far down their strength goes. And I'm going to need to have a look at their lists. I'm expecting... What am I expecting? See, it's interesting because they have some of the French Canadians in there as well, and they always bring interesting stuff. Shout out to Millennium Condor, etc. And Remy and everyone else that I play regularly online. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Canada brings. I think Canada could be a real threat in this group. Shout out to Canada. So yeah, I mean this is the thing. Like 6 teams are going to be offended every time. What was Marcel saying there? England, Ireland, Canada. I think that's fair. I think Finland have the capability to upset, but it's the honest truth that I think the general quality of both Canada and Ireland's players are probably higher than the total quality of Finland's players. I think Sami is a very good player and he's going to do well, but I think the lack of experience in the pairing system might go against him. So, best of luck. I wish you well. Good luck, Netta. Hey, good to see you, Ad. Hope you're doing well too. See, this is the thing. I told you I was going to be judgmental. Everyone is going to be offended because I'm always going to be shooting from the hip on this one. But if you're honest, you're always going to offend people. So I think it's also worth noting Philippines, Colombia, Croatia. They are not bad teams by any step of the week. I know I'm focusing on the other ones here because I think those are genuinely good. By genuinely good, I don't mean that the other teams are bad. I just feel like they don't have the general strength throughout the whole team. And I know Mahita is going to watch this and shout at me, Captain Croatia. Yeah, I think that there is going to be a fun fight in this group. This is going to be super, super cool. But I also do think that England will take top spot, and then it's going to be a big fight for the top 3 after that. Okay, how are the US highly rated? You heard my rant earlier, Liam. You're going to get onto the rant. It's fine. So, okay. So, yeah, I agree. I think that's quite nice. I like serious credit to Bartosz and Filippo for that pairing system. And shout out to Louis Leong for helping with the regional areas. He was more thinking about quality of country, and Louis helped him sort out the regionals so that people from the same area didn't play against each other. Because the whole point of this is that we want to get people playing all around the world. We want to get lots of different countries playing against each other. It's good. See, this is the thing. Like, as Funwalk is saying here, everyone loves to trash talk NA. Like, everyone trash talks NA. It's like it's a thing at this point. No matter what you're playing, NA is shit. Like, but they're not. They're really not. There is a lot of very, very good players in the US. And whilst the average quality might be bad, and by bad I mean just slightly lower than Europe, the top end of the USA is incredibly good and will go toe-to-toe with anyone. And I think TTS has done nothing but improve the top end and the average end of the American player base. You should be scared of America. There is a reason that Paul Heaver, I've only won 1 game out of 5 against him. He is an incredibly good player. Nathan Idy, Duncan Howard, all of these big names. All of you go on the streams and go, oh, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible. But if you actually get to play against one of the top American players, they are just as good, if not better, than the top Polish players, the top German players. So you shouldn't underestimate them. Anyway, that's my soapbox. As much as I've enjoyed trash talking Marcel over the last how many weeks, credit to them, they take a lot of heat, and not as much heat as Marcel will be taking if he fails to get out of groups. Which brings me on to Group D. So, So, what list do I not want to see? Well, that's a very good question. I'm not going to answer that because I'm not a moron. There we go. You're undefeated versus Duncan and Paul. Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Sorry, that was really condescending, Dutch. I think, to be fair, you've smashed me a couple of times as well, so that's fair play. All right, just in time for the D. Oh, see, this is the problem. I'm playing a hot sauce game versus someone who's Mexican. At least from Mexico. Apologies, Marcel, if that's offensive. I didn't mean to be. Group D is a thing. Now, I think Group D is the worst group. It's not quite a group of death, but Group D is hard work. Group D is very hard work. It's going to be very hard work. So, reasons why Group D is annoying. Australia. Unfortunate. It was always going to be whichever group got Australia was going to be, like, scared. Because with the wildcards, Singapore is good. Canada is good. Australia has the capability of being a top 5 team, regardless of a top 10 team. But again, we just don't know how good they are. We don't know how good they are. Australia has some of the best X-Wing players in the world. The Fosses and... it's gone out of my head. Jaron Foss... Morgan Reed. There we go. Morgan Reed. The Fosses and Morgan Reed have been at the top of X-Wing for so long. For so long. Shout out to Morgan Reed for getting the perfect game of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I think the disadvantage of the Australians is they're going to be playing with an arsehole time zone every time. I think you're going to see the Australians tank it a little bit when it comes to the finals because they're going to have to play at a really weird time of day. Although saying that, might be harder for the Americans, depending if you're West Coast America, that could be really difficult. I have been throwing shade, not so much at you. I mean, to be fair, Gary, I think out of everyone, actually, where's Scotland? Where is Scotland? Scotland is in Group C. Where's Scotland gone? Yeah, there we go. I think out of all the groups, Scotland has the best chance of all the seed 2s of falling flat on the face and not getting out of groups, because this is a really big fight for second place. I feel like Scotland can ride on their experience, but might get slapped down by, say, South Africa. Ireland could be in trouble. Ireland could be in trouble. I mean, there's a lot of good groups here, and I would say that Ireland and Wales have historically been of a similar level. So the fact that we have Wales in our group is a concern for the second place spot. Obviously, we're taking second place spot because we're better than you, but there we go. Anyway, yeah. So this is the thing, is because the Reeds and the Morgan Reed and the Fosses don't play much online. And I think what's worth noting is everyone forgets about Spain. And I see, Marcel, there isn't a top team. Spain won last year. Did they deserve to win? I think so, actually. Spain is very, very good at X-Wing. Everyone underestimates them. Marcelo beat me in the top 16 of the UK SOS this year. Great game. Annoying, but great game. But how good a team are they going to bring? They're always consistent. I think that's the argument for Spain. They're never flashy. They're never the best team, like, on paper. You never look at them and go, oh, that's terrifying. but they are so good at just doing well again and again and again and again. Like, everyone underestimates them. Everyone underestimates them, and they have so many good players. So I think everyone is sleeping on Spain here. I think this is actually going to be the fight for top place. This is going to be the group where we have a fight for first place, because Spain versus USA, and Australia, like Spain, USA, and Australia, I am hyped for this. I am really, really hyped for this. There is going to be a lot of good competition in Group D for first place, and I don't think it's. I don't think Sweden is going to be fighting for first place. Sweden is good, but I don't think they're going to be a first. They're definitely fighting for second. Sweden is fantastic. There is a lot of good players in there. Obviously, you got Niklas God. You have a lot of the phenomenal level of players from Sweden. I play in Sweden a lot. I mean, I made it my mission to get over to the Nordics since 2015. Yeah, it is basically group death. I mean, I think the difference here is that there is a very, very, very strong top four. So USA, Sweden, Spain, and Australia are going to be having serious fisticuffs for the top spots. And the question is, and it's a really important question, is how is the bottom end of Australia and Sweden? Because I know for a fact that Spain and the USA have quality all the way through. There is enough players in those countries that they are going to have good players in all aspects. All of their players are going to be very good at what they do. They're going to be very confident in their lists. If there's okay, so my point here, Philipster, is that the fight for first, Sweden is at least part of the upset group. Sweden is good enough to take enough upset games that they can then win off game difference against some of the teams that might slip down in a couple of games. I know that this is the fight for the top two, but yeah, I think that Sweden is the kingmaker in this group. That's what I don't know. So Target.tv, obviously from Sweden. That's what I don't know, because I know that in person Spain is ridiculous. Hey, Marcelo, hello. Exactly, like that's the thing. I don't know how Spain is on TTS. I know in person they're terrifying. They have there is the fact that I have not seen more than 3 of the same player at the XTC every year, and the fact that like a player of the quality is like, shout out to David Diaz, the fact that he has not been in the XTC every single year, it gives you an idea of just the quality of that team, that there is a genuine fight every single year for the people in that team. And I have so much love for the Spanish players. They are some of the friendliest people I have met. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to transfer to TTS. I don't know how that comparison is going to go. I think D is going to be the best group to watch the top end of. I think that you're going to have to pick your matches carefully if you're going to watch matches here. I don't think... Sorry to the bottom groups. Shout out to Dave for Malta. But I think that there is going to be some absolute dumpster fires going on in games here. I think that there is going to be some very high quality players. Not quite shitting on, but I think there's going to be some 7-0s in this group. And I think there is going to be a race for the top. And yeah, if you get a first round of USA versus Spain, that could decide the group in the first round. so be careful. As things, XDC lists are going to be posted probably by Wednesday on thexdc.space. Thexdc.space. So you can check that out. Actually, let's put it in the background. Why not? There we go. So here is the thing. Like, that is the group photo from the wonderful brewery. There is my face. Shout out to Team Wales for the best logo. Shout out to Leonidas, who is, yeah, there's like, this is the XTC. This is what I miss. Yeah, it's fine. I told you I was going to be shooting from the hip here. But yeah, this is the XTC. This is what I miss from in-person X-Wing. So yeah, we'll see. Sweden has some interesting lists. I will have a look at those in a second. Will Australia suffer? No, because they've been playing in the Oceanic Team Championships, which uses the same pairing process. And Australia has a big history at the ETC as well, so I would imagine that some of the 40k and fantasy players have transferred across and they know the system. So I wouldn't rely on the fact that they don't know the pairing system to work to your advantage. And yeah, seriously, the flight suits for Northern Ireland, good call. Good call. So yeah, this is the XTC.space. You will see there are some partners providing some fantastic prizes. Team and squad submission, pairing matchups, etc. Streaming schedule, which is amazing. You get to see what matches are streamed where. There will be a video gallery, so we're going to be linking all of the games on the video gallery, and we're going to be putting the lists up there as well soon. So there we go. Anyway. All right. Yeah, they were really, really warm, so fair play. Anyway, going back to this. So yeah, I think watch this one. This is going to be good. All right, final group, Group E. Now this is interesting because I don't know how the Netherlands translates into online play. I haven't seen as many people. Obviously, you have Farn and you have a lot of the X-Wing Amsterdam squadron. I don't know. I feel like there's a fair few of the Dutch players playing online. They're good players, clearly. They're goddamn terrifying. Farn keeps on beating me in person. He's like my nemesis when it comes to on-table play. So this is an interesting group because I feel like the Netherlands is, if the Netherlands has their standard quality of play and France has their standard quality of play, then they win this group. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's a very good point. I apologize. I need to call some people wrong. I think that B is the easiest group, but it just has Group B. Yeah, I think B is the easiest group, but they only have one strong team in there. Germany. Sorry, Scotland. Sorry, back to Group D. I need to make some hot and spicy predictions. Okay. So, who's coming first? Spain's first. Can't count them out. I think they're too consistent. I think Spain has to come first. And you know what? I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go 1 and 2. I think everyone's looking at Group D as the group of death, but actually I think that quality is going to shine through. I think everyone is sleeping on America. I think that the USA is actually going to come through here. I believe in Marcel's confidence in his team, and I think that he's picked a good team this year. So I I think that we're going to see a Spain-USA 1-2. I don't know what order that's going to be, but I think we're going to see a Spain-USA 1-2. I think Sweden and Australia are going to put up a really good fight, and I think actually what it's going to come down to is it's going to come down to wins. I think this is going to be a group that what's going to happen is that whoever wins out of the Spain-USA matchup is then going to get beaten by one of the other pairings, and they're going to end up fighting on their win-loss ratios. I think that's what's going to happen. It's really hard to call. I think the Aussies are going to be up there, and you could definitely see some upsets from the Aussies. You could definitely see some upsets from Sweden. But I think Spain and USA. If I had to bet, I would put Spain above US. But that's because I have less experience of looking at all of those players. Okay, so it's going to come down to we're actually going to get a tie for first place. I think we're going to get a tie for first place on team wins. So I think it's going to come down to individual wins in that process. So I think it's going to be a case of looking at how many 7-0s, how many 6-1s have those teams been able to rack up. And I think that's where Spain is going to edge out the USA, because I think Spain's consistency is going to allow them to 7-0, 6-1 some of those weaker teams in the group. And therefore, when it comes down to the tiebreaker scenarios, Spain, they might not have the head-to-heads, but they're going to make sure that they come in second place at least because of that. And so the Fosses are not in the team because they don't play TTS. Same thing with Morgan Reed. They don't play much on TTS. And Morgan basically doesn't play XP anymore. I think he's fairly up on Crisis Protocol. So, yeah. I agree. I think it will be a triple tie for second, and I believe in the USA and Spain. Whichever one comes second, I cannot guarantee which one's going to come second. If I had to put money on it, I would put Spain as first and USA as second, because there's a reason I believe in those seedings. But I think that USA will be able to win out on individual player wins. I agree. I think there's going to be a 3. I think we're going to see a 5-2 three-way tie for second place in Group D. On the subject of hot and spicy, I think Group B is going to come down to 4-3. I think there is going to be a 4-3 tie for second place in Group B. That's my call. Yeah, I feel like Spain should be able to win out. It's going to be a hard call. Like, I think the America is gonna give them a really good fight. It's going to give them a really good fight. If there is any set of games in the group stages that I am really excited for, let's just quickly go through this. Italy, Singapore could be good. Nothing there. I think Canada, Ireland, or Canada, Wales. Actually, you know what? No, I back Wales. I think Wales are going to get the pairings on Canada. I think Canada, Ireland, that's going to be good. I think Ireland's going to edge them out. I think Ireland's going to beat Canada. Yeah, out of all of them, France, Netherlands, that's going to be another really good game. Let's get on. Let's get on to Group E. Let's get on to Group E, because I think this is the other group where there is a genuine fight for first place. Because don't be sleeping on France. France is good. France shout out to all of the French players, lovely people. Um, I'm really hoping that I get to go to France this year on holiday. Oh God, I miss France. But yeah, shout out to all the French players and Serbia as well. Oof, oof. Serbia is going to be fighting for some top spots here. Yeah, this is going to be interesting because like the Danish players are good, the French players are good. Oh, Switzerland as well. I think Group E is your resident sleeper group. Yeah, Group E is your resident sleeper. Like Serbia is going to ruin some people. Like Serbia is going to come into the pairing and just smack people. Um, there is people are going to underestimate Serbia. People are going to underestimate Switzerland, and I think most of all, people are going to underestimate. I mean, the more I look at this group, the more I actually look at this, the worse it gets. Who actually wins this? This is a genuine fight because I think it's France and Netherlands are going to do some serious fighting, but I think the possibility for all of these other teams to play spoiler is so huge. I mean, the obvious answer is that Netherlands and France make it out as 1 and 2 because those are the top 2 seeds, but there could be some serious upsets here. Like obviously Philip in the chat, Serbia has so much experience in the XTC. They've been in there all 5 years now of the XTC happening. Previous 4 and this one. They know the pairing system. They have shown before with all of the TLTs that got them to 4th. Their TLT lists got them to 4th place. They have a lot of good players. Yeah, you serious guns in his arms. Okay, let's see. Marcel, Netherlands, France, Serbia, Denmark, Mexico, Switzerland, Japan. Ooh, why you got to be doing Switzerland like that? Oh man. I think the problem is I'm not even sure he's wrong. Oh, he's right, Mexico. Oh God. Oh, that's so hard. I don't want to call this. I don't want to call this. This is terrifying. You're right. Someone has to be 6th. I think to be fair, Japan is 7th, but someone has to be 6th. And it's gonna hurt. Whoever is 6th, it's gonna hurt. I agree with you, Selbrute. Like, obviously I know you're on Team France, so you're biased, but it's fine. Yeah. Japan is the biggest unknown. I mean, like Joe Congdon has been one of the best players. I'm not talking. This is not an exaggeration. Joe Congdon is one of the best Vassal players to have played X-Wing. Myself, Hiva, Joe, we have been playing for a ridiculously long amount of time. We have been like on Vassal since like 2015. And he is a very good player. Sorry, Selbrute. You're French Canadian, not. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, man. So, if we're doing predictions, I think this depends on the team that Farn can bring together. Netherlands, France, I agree with what Dr. Diminisher is saying here. How do the Vassal players transition to TTS? We play top down. I hit P until I hit the top down view, and it still makes me sad. I think France Netherlands is going to be one of the games of the group stages. Spain USA and France Netherlands. If you're watching a set of games, those 14 games are going to be some of the most interesting that anyone plays. Hey, Sava! Yes! Shout out to Sava. I have missed his face. I saw him at the early XTCs and I haven't seen him since. I am so sad that I'm not going to be able to see him in person this year. Yeah, the XTC is on TTS, but my point is that Joe is a phenomenal player. regardless of what platform you put him on. I always rate the Vassal players highly because they've been playing for a very long time. So I feel like I kind of want to put France above the Netherlands. I don't know what it is. I just don't have confidence in the Netherlands on TTS. Because they have so many good players, but I don't know how many of them play online. And I know that Farn does. I know that Farn and a core group of his local players played on Vassal for a very long time. So if you are from Holland and you play regularly on TTS, shout out to me. Let me know. But yeah, I feel like France could come first here. I feel like France could come first. Like, if France gets its good players, they are very good. I feel like there has always been... there we go, Wouter. That's good. Okay, in which case, if all of you guys play online, then Holland comes first, no questions. Because Farn, Wouter, Nick, you've got to remember the amount of second places that Holland has as a country. You guys come second in everything, in all of the big X-Wing events. Wouter second in the Euros, obviously Rick second at Worlds to Simeon. So if all of the Dutch players play online, again with the urban density, same thing as the UK, you have so many people in the local area, then I think Holland is a easy first place in this group. Because everyone forgets just how many good players Holland has. Sorry, I mean Yelta. I keep on doing this. For some reason, I mix up Yelta and Rick. But I think Holland is easy first place if they have their full team playing. If you get what I mean, like all of their tabletop. Then the question becomes Serbia versus France, and who upsets them. Because I don't think it's going to be the Serbia versus France game that decides this. I think it's going to be their games against Mexico, Denmark, and Switzerland. I feel like one of them is going to get caught out. I think if either of them can take a game off the Netherlands, then it's going to come down to points difference. Oh, I feel like Holland could go 7-0 in this group. If they turn up, if they turn up, and if they've practiced and everything's fine, Holland can go 7-0. Because this is the missing piece of information that I didn't have. I know that Tom Reed played for the Netherlands last year because they couldn't quite get the full team out to Poland. If Holland has its full team of top-notch players, then be scared. Might be a small country, but oh my god, the quality of X-Wing in there is incredible. And I know for a fact that Farn is playing K-Wings. Ugh! Don't want it. I don't want it at all. So, yeah. If you're going to watch a group of... So this is the fun one. If you want to watch nonsense, watch Group B. There is going to be a lot of fights going on in Group B for second place. If you want to watch a serious level of fisticuffs all the way through the group with some upsets going on, watch Group E. If you want to watch a fight for first place, watch Group D. Is there a group of death? I think that depends on your definition of group of death. I think I think group of death would have to be considered Group D, because it has the top end of the group is incredibly high quality. I think Group E has a large option for upsets, and I think that Group B is just going to be an absolute slugfest. Yeah. Gaming was fun. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this is my point, and this is why I think Group D is the group of death, because there are some serious upsets going on. Hello, who is that? Hey, Isaiah. Good to see you. We've got the worst coach children going on here. This is the point where I've been mean about America, right? Um, all right. So just to recap, let's go back to predictions. Group A, relatively simple. Poland's going to come first. That's the clear favourite. We are looking over the XTC groups. Poland's going to come first. I don't have any arguments on that. I think Italy's going to come second, but Singapore could be an upset. That's the only thing. First match pairing should be Wednesday, Thursday, I would imagine. Group B, this is going to be a fight. Germany is going to come first by a long way. I think they're going to go 7-0. I think they're going to smash everyone else. They're not even going to be close. I think the second place is probably going to be... I don't even know. I feel like I should believe in Scotland, but... There's so many unknowns in this group. Like South Africa, New Zealand, like even some of the South Americas. Who knows? Who knows? Iceland could be good. Like, again, Lithuania. Like, there are so many unknowns in this group. I think if Scotland bring their pairing game, then they could do well. But Eastern Europeans and tabletop games are always terrifying. So, again, Lithuania, Ukraine, who knows? So, yeah. Can we see the list? We can't see the list yet, unfortunately. Yeah, we can't see the list yet. We will do soon. I can see the list right now. The lists will be released on the XTC website when Filippo manages to format them in a nice format. Do remember there are 38 teams times 7 lists, so he does need to spend some time. He actually has a job, so he needs to put those in a decent order. So Group B, I think, is going to be the absolute mess. Really hard to decide, but I think Group B is where we're going to see the upset. I feel like Scotland is going to get upset by someone, but I can't predict who. Group C, England first, probably Ireland second. Close fight between Canada, Finland, and Wales for who might upset them. Yeah, I think that's the that's going to be the fight for second place in this one. This is the bar brawl for second place where we have no idea what's going to happen. This one is it's actually close between a couple of countries for second place. Yeah, I think that's what's probably going to happen. That'd be my guess. Hey, work break is good. Work break is good. Honestly, yeah, I think that England can 7-0 this group. Fight me. Can you see a team that can beat us? I mean, any team could beat us, yes, but I don't think they have the tail end. I don't think you have the quality in the in the sort of the 5th, 6th, 7th players to take us on. I think we have the lower levels to do that. But yeah, I think that's the case. Upsets. There could be some upsets in Group C. Canada's very good. So I think Canada, Finland, and Wales. Wales is relying on its pairing. I don't know the players yet. I need to have a look at the pairings. Finland, Ireland, Finland, Wales, Canada all have the capability of upsetting Ireland here. So, that's going to be interesting. Group D. This is where it gets messy. I'm going to stick with my previous thing. I think Spain and USA, they are the two strongest groups. They are the two strongest teams in the group. But this one is a slugfest. Sweden and Australia are going to put up a very good fight. It may come down to who can batter the lower teams better. So, yeah. If Australia can absolutely smash sort of Malta, Chile, Hungary, and then get a sneak win off one of the two biggies, then maybe you can sneak into second place. I don't know. I think it is going to be USA versus Australia for second. I think Sweden's going to put in a good fight. I think it's going to come down to who manages to beat Sweden for second place. Group D is hard. Yeah, well, that's my job as captain to make sure that we all do well, isn't it? So there we go. And in Group E, for summary, I think if Holland has got their full team, if the Netherlands have their full team, then they're going to come first in this hard D. Oh, behave. Yeah, if the Netherlands have brought their full team, they're going to win. They can win this group. I think you should also be scared of France. My prediction is that it's going to be Netherlands and France first and second, but you should watch out for Serbia. I can't rate Mexico. I don't know how good they are. I can't rate Denmark. I don't know how good they are. Those two teams have a very good possibility of being decent. Again, with Switzerland, there's a lot of good players in Switzerland. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on them. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see how some of those groups do. So, yeah. Those are my predictions for all the groups. And we'll go from there. So let's, just to finish off, questions. Chuck us some questions. We've been going for 2 hours now. We've been going a long time. Obviously, this is the after hours late night stream. If you have some questions, chuck in some questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Just as one that came in already, Antonio, does the website explain of the timings and schedule? The group stages start. It is a round robin of in each of the groups. They start on the 1st of June, so that's when the games are going to start. The streaming schedule will be up on the website, thexdc.com.space. You should check that out. And it will be go from there. So let's deal with some questions. I'm not going to make predictions on the final. I think it's going to be very interesting to see the meta develop, because the final is going to change. The finals are going to change a lot because we're allowed to change lists. So there we go. How do I think pairings will be impacted by online? I think the captains are going to get less support. I think normally what happens is that the captains are able to have more support from their players in the background. This isn't going to be able to happen as often, so it's going to be a lot more on the captains. So pre-preparation is going to be a lot more helpful. If you can get information off your players and proper information off your players on pairings and matchups, then that's going to be incredibly important. Yeah, I think captains should do a lot of work this year. Explain the reasons why Poland is ungodly good at X-Wing. Proximity and player base. Poland has a lot of players playing in a close area, very similar to England. England is one of the big X-Wing countries. Poland is another, Germany is another. There is a lot of tournaments going on in a small area, so all of the best players can rotate around those tournaments, and they can get good because all of the best players play against each other on a regular basis and raise each other's level. The reason why the Polish scene is so good is because they think so far ahead of the metagame. They predict the good lists. But they go further than that. The way that I've explained this before is America as a whole uses the meta lists. They are very happy to pick up the list that is good, in inverted commas, and play it to death. They will practice it so much that they are better than everyone else at that list. England, as a general area, the UK as a general area, will see the meta list and go, okay, I need to kill this, so I'm going to use this to kill it. So they will work out the next step along the line. Poland thinks 2 steps ahead. This is generally what I've found. Poland will bring the counter to the counter. By the time that we've already reached the counter, they've already worked out what will be the counter to the counter, and will be flying that, because 3 months down the line, that's what they'd need to practice to win. So that's why I think Poland is so good, because not only do they have an incredibly good understanding of the top level of the game, they are also very good at predicting where the game is going to go. So that's why I think Poland is good at X-Wing. How surprised am I going to be when Scotland gets to the finals and win the whole thing? Very. I think Scotland have an okay team this year, but nothing spectacular. I think Scotland is the weakest seed in the second seed group, unfortunately, because I love the Scottish players. I think they're lovely. However, I think that out of that bunch, they are going to struggle. I do, however, think that they got a good group, because if there is a group that they can get out of, I don't think there is. They dodged the scary teams. South Africa is the only possibility that is terrifying in Group B. Germany's coming first, but Scotland have a good chance coming second. If I was to pick 3 countries that are not in the top 10 or wild card, who would be the upset? Okay, give me a sec. Let me get paint back up. All right. So we're not allowed to pick the top 2 buckets, and we're not allowed to pick the wild card. Who is going to be the upset countries? And I have to pick 3 teams. Okay. So of the Nordics, Finland is interesting. I've seen a lot of the Finnish players play well. Sweden as well. Serbia has to be in there. Serbia, team 1. Wales, team 2. Purely based on pairings experience. These 2 teams, they didn't quite make it into the top 10. They could have. I think either Sweden, Serbia, Wales could have beaten Scotland into the top 10. Same thing with Australia. I think that would be my 3. Ignoring the wild card. So I think Australia, Wales, and Serbia, those would be my top picks for that. The pairing system isn't that tricky. Okay. Sure. It's a mini game. Yes, it isn't that tricky, but I think there's a lot of options inside it. And I think if you do your homework, it's going to be fun. Pairing's going to be fun. Essentially, yes, dear. That's what I have said to that Funwalk. You're right, the pairings aren't that tricky. It's a relatively simple system to understand. However, I feel like being able to do the pairings well, it stacks. Anyway. There will be list changes when there will probably be... so there are list changes before the finals. That's important to note. I'm really, as Antonio said, this feels like, because there's so much streaming sport and everything else, there's a bit more of a build-up to it with the group stages. I feel like this is going to be really, really cool. Yes. Oh, dear. I'm enjoying the amount of rage coming out of Sammy. Liam, well done on the quality of the work you put in so far. Thank you. I appreciate that. And shout out to Liam as well for being an amazing supporter. Liam was one of the people that was in the shortlist for Team England and didn't quite make it. And thank you for being so supportive on that. He has accepted the choices and he's been incredibly helpful so far. So thank you, Liam. Casual fun walk. I would love to win some store prizes compared to players in my area. Nope. Yes. This is a case of very much the case of this. Pairings all players except captains muted. Oh wow, interesting. Really? So for pairings, I'm going to be bouncing in and out of chat. I'm going to be going into the chat with the other captain, and then I'm going to be coming back out and talking to my teammates if anyone is around to support. That is helpful. Right. In my experience, the Polish will take any opportunity to punish you for errors. Agreed. They play the game at the highest level, and they do not have take-backsies active. There is fly casual and there is fly properly. And I am happy to subscribe to the fly properly. You just follow the rules. And this is something that I think is really... I've seen people misunderstand this. You should follow the rules by the letter. If you go into the game and everyone is following the rules by the letter, then there is no misunderstandings. If you make a mistake and you ask to take it back, in a standard level event, that is fine. In a worlds level or in a continental level event, you should not ask. Like, it is a dick move to ask to take back a mistake. You have made a mistake. You have missed a trigger. You have done this. This is part of the game. And because of that, that is the level that the Polish players play at. They will not let you take that back. And because of that, you need to play at your highest level against them, because you need to do everything properly. You need to have this. For those of you who have maybe played high-level Magic before, you're aware of the tricks and tips that people will do to put you off, that you have to stay on top of your game. X-Wing is nowhere near that. The Polish players that play properly are nowhere near that. They're not being dicks. They're just playing properly. Like, they're playing competitively. They're trying to get every level of competition out of this. So, you know, that's fine. Were there any names missing from the team announcements? I haven't kept too much of a heads up on the team announcements. I've had a cursory look at a lot of them. Who do I think will win in August? Entirely depends on how the lists change. I would need to have a look at those things. All right. Paris. Any more questions? Angry Finnish noises, basically just normal Finnish noises. Any more? So, fat forehead. Sorry for the tangent. Recently getting into X-Wing and trying to get my friends into it. Any suggestions on doing so? Absolutely. The first thing to do is play games that are fun. If you're trying to get your friends into it, what do they enjoy? You have to remember that if you're trying to get someone interested in it, you're the one that is enabling them. Okay? So if you're enabling them, then you have to do the thing that they enjoy. If they want to play X-Wings, you give them X-Wings to play. And you don't stomp them into the floor. You allow them to play a game where they have a chance of winning, but they're not going to win every time. If they win every time, it's boring. If you win every time, it's boring. Balance the lists. Make a mistake. You're good enough at playing. You understand how to make a deliberate mistake, which will make the game easier for them. I will do this regularly in games against some of my students, in games against someone who is new. You don't fly to the best of your ability because you're trying to make the game fun for them. You're trying to have a good time. Once they get better, then raise your level. Do that. So yeah, have a good game against them. Ask them what they enjoy. What do they want to do? And at the end of the day, yeah, like provide opportunities for them to get involved and have fun. Yeah, absolutely. Like Judging the Magic is entirely fair. Am I super soft? Yes, because I didn't want to blow out my mic. If I put it here, then everyone's ears go, and it gets all fuzzy. So, good morning, Nobby. Good to see you. Yes, and I agree with you, Paul. I think you can take it too far, and I like the fact that X-Wing is friendly. I like the fact that we're not taking it too seriously, and that there aren't money prizes involved. And if there was money prizes involved, I would be a massive douche canoe and take it a lot more seriously than I do right now. But it's fine. We're not playing in a Magic Pro Tour world, thankfully. Hey, good night, Malta. Have a good evening. Paul's a dick, but I love him. It's fine. Okay. I think, and there we go. There we go. So, that's that. Any more questions? Any more of interest? Good to see you soon. Oh dear, that's amazing. Yeah, have a great evening. Have a great evening, Netta. But yeah, any more questions? Any more XTC questions? Any more X-Wing questions? I think I've basically reached the end of things. I have enough stuff that I can cut. I'm going to cut some bits for this, but I will place this up onto YouTube as a thing. Yes. Do need to go back to online X-Wing. Yeah, professional dice game, like exactly. It's not going to be like you need to replace the dice with something else. Why is Gavin Darklighter so overpowered? What are you smoking? Come on, Vince. Let's take this a bit more seriously. But yeah, so all in, that's the groups. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. Thoughts on Double Resistance Y-Wing Pack leaked? Haven't seen much about it, honestly. What factions I think are easiest to learn? I would ask the person in question, because when you start the game, it doesn't matter what it's easiest to learn. It matters what they think is cool. From working Games Workshop for a while, rule of cool is important. If they think it's cool, they'll be interested, they'll play it. So ask them what they like and play that. Oh, overpriced. Yeah, Gavin is overpriced. That's fine. Can I do the next Twitch in a hot tub if I can fit it? I mean, my next door neighbours do have a hot tub. Good to know. Might steal that. See you around. Absolutely. USA not making finals. Calling it now. Well, in which case Marcel has to do some hot sauce. There we go. All right. Mediumly hot takes. I've tried to be honest. Turns out that when you make seeds, you expect them to do well. The interesting thing is when those things fail. Third sexiest. I'll take that. On the so teaser for all of you, there is going to be some X-Wing advertising filmed by myself out there soon. I say filmed by myself, filmed by a company. Yeah, there's been some fun news in the pipeline, so keep probably in about a month's time it will be released. So yeah, there's we're trying to push X-Wing. We'll see. There's your teaser. There is an actual filming that I've done recently with a company. And shout out to Brecht Cuppens for making that happen. So thank you very much. What is my think on 2-ship list currently? I mean, Double Fire Sprays is one of the best lists in the game. Ray and Poe is fantastic. I think you need to have a good game. Oh, that's really cool, Steve. I'm really glad. I have, as someone who runs a club at my school to try and get people interested in X-Wing, I think Aces High is phenomenal. It's a really good game because you don't lose, you just respawn. Um, and I think there is something to be said for giving someone a selection of ships and going, what do you want to fly? And being able to just come up with a counter list just off the top of your head that is worse. Really good rule of thumb for playing an intro game of X-Wing. They get 1.5 times the amount of points that you get, because you don't want it to last that long. You want to win, and you don't want it to last that long. So if they're playing Rebels, give them 2 X-Wings and play against 3 TIE Fighters and make one of those X-Wings Luke, because he's cool. You will die, and that's good. They will win. Next few games, make it fair. If you're playing Empire, give them 4 TIE Fighters and play like an X-Wing and a Z95 or something, or an A-Wing. Like, they'll win. Anyway. Very big Gizly. It will be awful, and I will post it all over the internet because there we go. OnlyFans, not a chance. You're not getting any feet pics here. Pocketing their best list ever to return to in-person play? I don't think so. I think there are people being very careful of their best lists. But I think the nature of X-Wing as it is right now is that the best players are getting put on stream on a regular basis. And some of us are having to be very careful of what we keep under their hats. So I think you're going to see more players returning to in-person play that are able to practice lists that are less seen online. For me personally, most of my games online have been league games recently, so I haven't been able to put a list on the table that anyone doesn't know about. As soon as I play a list in an event, it's suddenly on TTT and everyone looks it up. So I haven't been able to keep a list secret. Whereas if I play in person, it's a lot easier. So there we go. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, 2-ship lists are interesting. 2-ship lists are interesting. They're definitely viable. It's, as you say, it's just a matter of how. It's just a matter of how. Right, I'm going to stop recording, but I'm going to keep the stream running. So for those of you watching on YouTube land, goodbye. Have a good evening. Enjoy your life. And come and check out more. I'm going to break down some teams when team lists come out. So you should definitely check that out. Like, subscribe, bleh. Don't care. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, and we are off recording. Yeah, so for those of you who want to have around and have a chill, cool. I'm not planning on staying up for that much longer. Yeah, we're getting an after dark. I mean, it wasn't much different from the actual dark. I mean, in terms of, I'm sitting, chilling, drinking, and chatting too much shit about X-Wing. So yeah, it's good. I'm still not sending you feet pics, but that's fine. But yeah, 2-ships are fun. I enjoyed 2-ships. That was fun. Lots of XTC meta things. There we go. England lists. That's always that I like this picture. That's a good picture. Let's just put that. Oh dear. There we go. Do you think there is any merit to faction differences? Yes. Factions play differently. There is definitely a different feel to the factions. I think if you're looking to get good at the game, it's better to practice an archetype. Swarm, beef, aces. And you rotate your faction depending on which one does it best. I think if you have a faction preference, then, like, for example, Scum is the shenanigans faction, right? Yeah. That's the idea. So there we go. Oh god, do we have to talk about Kanan? Fuck me. Like, yeah, Kanan. Kanan is a monster. Current best two ship: Django Zam, Repo, Boba Nim, Vader Suntir. Oh, I disagree on Vader Suntir. Vader Echo, Vader Whisper. Kylo Tavson, again, no. I think someone playing Kylo Quickdraw well will do better, but you have to make Quickdraw cheap and good at getting sixes. Dash Ahsoka, no. I think the best Rebel 2 ship is actually a 3 ship, because it's Wedge, Jake, and Han, and Wedge and Jake are one ship. They work together, because when they kill Wedge, you don't actually lose your other part of that ship. Jake is now just able to run away to victory. Meta Slave, constant min-maxer, always anxious. The faction I'm playing suboptimal due to current points. Well, now we're getting onto list building. I mean, what I tend to do is I tend to have a look at all the factions, see what I can do well as a triple ace archetype, and build it that way. Right now, what's the best triple ace archetype? Triple ace is always best as a list that can choose to joust or to arc dodge. I think Rebels right now are probably the best triple ace archetype. Maybe Imperials, but I think Rebels are probably best. Because you can make an absolutely nonsense token passing list that is really good at acing still. Double Strays is still ridiculous, I agree. Probably the best list in the game right now. Oh, I'm glad, Steve. I'm really, really glad. He's sorry. To clarify, I played against Steve's son for his 10th birthday. Really good game, and he beat me as well. Like, credit to the kid, he's good. But yeah, again, like in a game like that, you don't bring your A game. You bring a list that is appropriate. Steve sent me his son's list in advance. I dialed in a list that was about the right level to play against it, made a couple of more obvious moves than I would do normally in a game, and it worked out quite well. He had a really good time. Yeah, Kanan is a massive douche canoe. He is a twat badger, and all the other amazing insults I can come up with. And as soon as we go into a 4-ship and lower meta, you will be terrified of Kanan. Kanan is the worst ship in the game right now. Unfortunately, people just don't realize it because everyone else is playing multiple ship lists. Phil, go back in your box. Kanan and Maul is not wholesome. He is absolute cancer, and I'm going to love flying him with 3 fangs. Republic triple regen is okay. Tried it, didn't get on with it. Always the Imperials, I agree, Paul. It's probably always the best ace faction. Yeah. Focus on the basics, absolutely. There we go. Sorry, apologies. Thought some. Douching Twat Badger. Yeah, they're all fun. Any other fun insults? Don't think so. Kane and Ketsu Drorak off on a quad with Gleb. I mean, that's just some utter nonsense. But yeah, like I agree with you, Marcel. I think I wanted to take the triple aces to HCT actually, and I found that they didn't do enough damage. That if I made a single mistake, and not even a mistake, if I had a single dice swing against me, that was enough to ruin my day, and therefore I couldn't claw back those points. So which is why I went for the 4-ship in the end. Is it the reveal of my team list? Well, you can see my team list. The captains can already see my team list, so I don't mind too much. You'll see them on. You'll see them on probably Wednesday. They'll be on thextc.com.space. Yeah, but I mean, team list wise, this is mine. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. The Jedi are great. Kane and Maul, Ketsu's Arm and Gleb. Fun. I mean, that's rude. Kanan, Fen, and Dengar is a list that I've been considering for a little while now, which is always good fun. What else we got? There's the XTC stuff. Anyone? People are pinging me. Oh dear. Better. That's fun. Yes. Thank you, Liam. That's all that. Anything else in XTC? Let's just see if anyone has been bothering me. Yeah, Marcelo is wearing his team shirt. Good job, Marcelo. What have we got? So Simon from Team Sweden drinking all the way through. We got the groups posted. Is anyone going to... There we go. Someone posted mine. Have I prepared hot sauce? Oh God. Okay, if anyone hasn't heard, I have a bet going on with Marcel of Team USA. Obviously, Marcel is captain of Team USA. If you haven't heard already, he's an amazing human being. I thought we needed some spice, so I got called on to Nobby's stream. Shout out to the Gundarks. And I thought that as myself and Marcel were having a bit of fun, like shit-chatting each other for the last few weeks, that we could do with a bit more. So I thought, well, there needs to be a bet. And I originally thought, well, let's see who does better. But then that's a bit boring because we've got to wait all the way till August. And realistically, I thought, you know what? Let's see who makes it out of groups. Because I think that's the if anyone follows League of Legends, the League of Legends time for a little bit. I really rate Cloud9. I don't think Cloud9 did that badly at MSI. Shout out to Perks, obviously. Love me some European League of Legends. I'm sad that I didn't see Alphari because I was an Origin fan before they imploded. I would have loved to see Alphari and Team Liquid at an international event, but I'm really glad to see C9 at an international event and taking games off the top teams. Sad that they didn't make it to group stages, but fair play. You fell over against Pentanet. The Aussies took that one, which is why I'm a little bit concerned. Are the Americans going to get screwed by the Australians for a second time in group stages? Is this going to happen? It could. It really could. Oh my God. It's happening again. Am I a fan of League? I barely play any League. I played a little bit. I was very bad because I didn't put the practice time in because realistically, I don't have the time to play games apart from X-Wing these days. But I am a fan of watching League. I've followed European League of Legends for the last 2 years now, since the 2018 World Finals. And I really enjoy following League, so, it's good. Right, let's go back to the chat. On the hot sauce bet, sorry, to clarify, so myself and Marcel have a bet that whoever doesn't get out of groups has to go on the other person's podcast and answer Star Wars questions, and for every question they get wrong, they have to do a hot sauce roulette. I'm not sure. We need to decide, is it just for every question you get wrong, you do a shot of hot sauce? Or for every question you get wrong, you have to do a roulette of either hot sauce or not sauce. But yes. Where are we? Yeah, I know. Yeah, tell me about it. Like switching to Runeterra, I genuinely considered when Runeterra launched, like putting practice into it and getting good. But I also knew that a load of the Magic players would be switching over to it as well. I feel like hot sauce versus not sauce would be more fun. But if we're doing hot sauce versus not sauce, we have to make the questions really fucking hard because otherwise it's boring. Boom! Yeah. Oh my God. Flatliners. Half Sambuca, half vodka, and hot sauce. I actually really like the sound of that. I love Sambuca. I don't know, Marcel. How are you? Like, you're a Mexican, so I feel like Okay. Okay. Here's. Oh, all right. So, right. We have a suggestion here. I think for this bet, we should have a mix of shots. We should have tequila, because I hate tequila. Literally is the worst thing I can ever drink. I hate tequila so bad. Um, Sambuca, I am such a fan of. I love aniseed, and I'm so bad at hot sauce. So I think what we should do is we should have a mixture of shots for when we get questions wrong. I think we should have tequila, sambuca, and hot sauce. And we should roll a dice or do an RNG generator, um, and work out which one we do for when we get a question wrong. So there we go. That's but yeah, like, okay, don't do it on GSP, do it on something else. Say it's all hot sauce. It's fine. Definitely tequila. But that's exactly, it's only iced tea. This is iced tea. It just says Tyskie on the side. But yeah, so I think there is options for the bet, and over to Marcel for what he wants to get involved in. Yeah, I mean, like, I agree with Paul. Let's be honest, this is only a risk for Marcel because we're smashing our way out of our group. So over to you. Oh dear. To make it GCO group is easy. You said you can go 7-0. Put your hot sauce where your mouth is. Alright. That seems fair. Okay. I will do hot sauce shots if we don't go 7-0. I think that is entirely fair. I'm not going to do the whole like roulette, but I will do hot sauce shots if we don't go 7-0. I think that's fine. And yeah, that's true. It's easy to get bad tequila. Yeah. I will rise to that challenge. Come on then. Let's do it. Let's do it. Serious business. There we go. There is Paul immediately backing out of that bet. Like look at this. Look at this. It'll be on the 186. We're winning. That's not a problem. Oh no, God, no way we're going 7-0. No, I've got faith actually. I think we can 7-0 our group. I have faith in my team. I have a ridiculously large head, and the hat barely fits it. It's gonna be good. I like the odor of Hotka. I actually quite like Hotka. I feel like hot sauce makes vodka taste better. Even though I'm like, it kind of balances it out. Yeah, I think like to be fair to Marcel, his group is harder. His group is definitely harder than ours. Because of that, I think it would be unfair to expect him to go 7-0. Like, there is Spain in that group, there is Australia in that group. So I think it's only fair. I think it's only fair that we should do this. We should make it like proper. Let's go center cam. There we go. Let's go proper streamer. Best shot ever created. Is the cement mixer the worst shot ever? That's a question. So what do we got? Let's have a look at this. Cement mixer is one of the most popular shot drinks, and in some opinions the most disgusting. Ingredients. Oh no. So apart from the fact this is in ounces, it's Irish cream liquor and lime juice. So the whole idea of this, for those of you who don't understand basic chemistry, Jesus. Oh no. Okay, so it basically curdles it immediately. It curdles the cream. So you take the shot, you shake your head around, you curdle the cream intentionally, and then you swallow it so it expands in your stomach and you vomit. That's the whole idea of it. You're a horrible person, Liam. I hate you. Yeah, I think that's fair, Marcel. I think that's fair. If we drop a game in the group stage, then I will take the hot sauce bet. I think that's only fair. So yeah. But I'm not doing cement mixer. You keep that stuff away from me. Yeah, that's fine. Spoon of cinnamon on camera because I am asthmatic and that's a bad idea. Genuinely, like that's a terrible idea. Like, I will take horrible hot sauce bets because that won't threaten to fill up my like esophagus. I'm not doing that. Yeah, like that's fine. Oh dear. Like I'm fully aware that Wales, Ireland, Canada, they are all gunning for my head. I make no excuses. This is not an easy group. I'm not saying that Group D is a group of death and Group C is easy. As soon as Canada got drawn into our group, it was a pain. However, I still think that we're going to win 7 out of 7. I don't think we're going to 7-0 each of those rounds, but I think we're going to win all of them. If we're in a situation where we're 6 wins and we have the final round to go and we know that we're not going to get caught, I entirely expect my teammates to throw every single one of their games to make sure I do hot sauce. Just putting that out there. Like, it's going to be a thing. Sorry, Kester, to clarify, a round. So we just need to win the rounds of 7 games. Like, Paul is totally throwing games to make sure I get hot sauced. Like, that's a thing. But no, I think in all seriousness, I think we actually have a very good chance of going 7-0. Like, I'm happy to back myself on that. I think we have one of the best teams in the tournament. Team England has come at a very good placing repeatedly, and I think this team is one of the best teams we ever brought because we don't have to worry about flights and everything else. So yeah, you guys should be scared. We're gonna smack you. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I just need to make sure I don't fly ships onto rocks and TTS because that's the thing that happens. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm curious to see how many 7-0s we can get. I mean, I don't think we can get that many 7-0s. I'm reasonably sure we can't get that many 7-0s. It's a tough group. It's a tough group. Oh dear. Also, to those of you who think I wear eyeliner, that's just my eyes. I don't sleep enough. Shout out to Tom Fielsen for playing for Team Greece. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Let's see what we got. Partners, because I never actually had a look at this. Let's just go back to this. All of the Polish partners that I cannot read, but they're giving us good prizes, so that's fun. Scream schedule will eventually be filled out. I mean, just have a look at this. Have a look at all the streamy people that we have interested. It's great to see that all of these people are looking at streaming games. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be really, really good fun. So yeah, I think all in, it's going to be really, really good. Cool. Oh god, Sith Open. Don't do it. Right. I think I might have to call it a night because I am actually working tomorrow. Shock horror. I am going Thursday Spike. I will see you then. Have a wonderful evening, people. Hope you had fun. The previous bit is going to be on YouTube at some point soon, and I'm going to cut some bits out of it as I haven't recorded. So we'll get the summary of all the bits coming out, and what we'll also do is at some point I will break down some of those teams and see what I think. See you guys at 8:30. Those that still up in 2 hours. Yes. Good to shout out to GSP for their Monday night recordings. Say hi to Dion and Will for me if Will isn't here anymore. And yeah, it's great to speak to you all. Have yourself a good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the fun. Ta-ra.